Hello! Welcome to the playthrough. We are resuming where we took off last time. We had explored our first set of catacombs, the Stormfoot Catacombs. We saw some interesting icons. Perhaps the very barest of a ritualistic or religious system here in the lands between. We saw people buried at the roots of what we assume is called the Great Tree. Mosquitoes. Dragonfly head and these land squirts. We were told by a note that if we could manage to poison them, that they would rupture. Whatever that means. We don't have access to poison. And where'd the mosquito go? Oh, you know what? I don't care enough. I'm not gonna put up with mosquitoes. They're horrible, mean-spirited enemies that just zip around willy-nilly. Here's the camp we knocked out a few guys at on our way to the Gatefront Ruins. Here we find another cave. The Groveside Cave. A lot of starter caves probably to get players their first bunch of runes and experience in the world and the lands between. This one's just a cave. Still has the multiplayer pool. Still haven't decided what kind of character we want to build. We want to go forward with sorceries of some kind, but maybe we'll do some sort of hybrid since our character's roughneck roots seem to imply it. In fact, I want to show off these. Let's make some fire pots. See how well they do against our foes. Looks like they do fantastic damage, but they are of a limited quantity. I think the reason we did more damage than most with a single hit is because we hit him during his attack animation. In the Soulsborne games, that's referred to as a counter hit, and there's bonus damage associated with it. So we were able to make basic fire pots if we were willing to find smoldering butterflies and mushrooms. Ooh, this wolf has gold eyes. Do you see that? So he drops 4 times the amount of runes. It's a rather rare status effect. Yeah, 275. A little much for a single enemy at our level. Rune. And a whole slew of silver fireflies. And a glowstone. Oh, good. I was wondering when I'd be able to get some of those. They're excellent for lighting things up. So things to look at. Glowstone. Emits light from the location it is placed, illuminating surroundings. However, the effect is short-lived and lacks the diverse colors of rainbow stones. And kukri. I think we got this in the first episode. Throw at enemies to inflict damage and build up onset of blood loss. This heavy throwing weapon is unsuitable for swift attacks, but is able to inflict heavy damage. So a slower throwing knife. Here we are. Found near bodies of cold water untouched by sunlight. The light of fireflies is believed to have an alluring magic. Silver light is considered to invite riches. Okay. Here we have more of these Godric soldiers. Looks like their little camp was overtaken by a pack of wolves. They had a rough time of things. Seems interesting to me, though. I don't know. It looks like a more pale yellow as a part of their surcoat. Maybe that's to imply it's more faded. And the symbols look white, while I guess the right one looks whitish and the left one looks more like a yellowy gold. Oh, and I forgot last time we found a handful of wandering nobles. Maybe we could take a look at what they were dropping in terms of armor. Alright. Travel attire worn by nobles in the capital. Abandoning their birthplace after the shattering, these undead wanderers are the pitiful product of unending life. Let's see. Travel attire worn by nobles in the capital and belonging of a family which claims a knight as an ancestor. Okay, so we have a knight, maybe a feudal system of some kind. Travel attire worn by nobles in the capital, garb favored by the aged. Okay. Claims a knight as ancestor, aged. It looks like that they have more or less the same, but we get an idea that there's some sort of hierarchy involving knights and that it is desirable to be descended from one. And that there is a capital to the lands between, or there's at least one. It seems interesting that it's referred to simply as the capital. Not a capital, or a capital with some sort of proper noun attached to it. Okay, we have yet another fog wall. And I was going to take the time to make one set of these in a single fire grease. In fact, let's... let's see. Cocktail of incendiary materials. Solidified grease made from a mixture of incendiary materials coats armament, adding fire damage to attacks. The effect only lasts for a short time. It feels like about a minute. I could be wrong. Maybe it's 30 seconds. And here we go. Probably should have coded it when we got in. Bring my friends along, why not? Very intricate blade, and he is a beastman. Makes me wonder if he led the other wolves in here to take out the Godric soldiers. He's wearing very ornate gold. Talismans, wristbands, and drops a flame red talisman. Our first talisman, actually. Boost fire damage negation. In fact, without it, our fire negation is about 32%, which is pretty good, probably because we're wearing mostly mage or caster type gear. And with this on, it goes from 32 all the way up to almost 41. So a sizable increase. Talisman depicting a red ancient dragon. Boosts fire damage negation. The ancient dragons who ruled in the prehistoric era before the Erd Tree would protect their lord as a wall of living rock. Perhaps that's why the dragon-looking creature we saw at the Communion Chapel looked like it was made of rock. Perhaps it was a little more literal than it was figurative. And so it is that the shape of the dragon has become symbolic of all manner of protections. Sorry, take a brief sip of my water here. So there's another symbol there, another icon. We've seen trees, lions, and now dragons as a part of these symbols. Oh, and the twin axe symbol as well, referring to these groups. Lots of symbols going on. We haven't run into too many things to deal fire damage, but a bunch of bones, a little more of the an outpost put in the cave, and I took the time to gather the weapon he was using beforehand, so that maybe we could get a little more of an idea of what the beastmen of Farum Azula are like. Curved greatsword of colossal size, forged of dull iron and wielded by the beastmen of Farum Azula. The blade is incredibly heavy, but well balanced. Comparatively easy to wield for the damage it delivers. It's clear the beastmen possess knowledge beyond human ken. So it seems that we have these beastmen of Farum Azula. We don't know what Farum Azula is just yet, but we do know that there's those beastmen of Farum Azula, and this one in particular was holding a charm relating to dragons. Ancient dragons of a prehistoric era, which I believe prehistoric in our world simply refers to the era before written language. So perhaps it's simply an era before human written language. It's hard to say for certain. But now that we have done the Groveside Cave, oh, we can go to the Limgrave Tunnel. So that is where we will be heading to next. Exciting. Because after we head to Limgrave Tunnel, we'll have the capacity to upgrade our weapons. Well, we could already upgrade our weapons, but we have more materials and we can pick a handful of them. So, you know, they're one of those small bird trees, if it's even that, if that's even what it is. Have a couple more nobles along the road, and the lake. A summoning pool. We can summon spirit ashes here. Summoning pool. Looks like a pyre. Bunch of dudes standing around it. Some more squirts. Mosquitoes. More fallen ruins from a sky temple that we know so very little about. Here we have the Limgrave Tunnel. And this is a nice place to be. It's gonna feel a little bit like home. Because it's a mine. Not a glintstone mine. But we will see what kind of valuables they have inside. A little more money, which is going to be nice. Probably will want to spend our money and level up again soon. Or we can save it for upgrading a weapon. That also doesn't seem like a horrible idea. Let's see how much it costs to level up, actually. So it'd be nice to get some more base stats. Okay. How much? We have enough for duo levels. Wowza. And of the weapons we found, enemies 2. Got a handful of these weapons earlier than I should have in terms of the episode progression. Oh yeah, these are the weapons that the nobles were using. So the noble's slender sword, easy to wield, daubed with gold from tip to tail. It should fetch a good sum. Easy to wield. So it seems interesting that these gold weapons seem to be more ornamental than anything else. But, they're quite usable. Either way, some people rather like them. I need to get more root resin. Okay, good and duly noted. Alright, yeah, why not? Let's level up our health a little bit more. Break 700 health. Can't go wrong with plenty of health. These stone miner fellows who have a rather oversized pickaxe. And they're so durable. He had a smithing stone, there's a smithing stone on the wall. And they drop this pickaxe, actually. This big, chunky thing. We can't wield it yet. Maybe this is what we should shoot for when we move past our regular-sized war pick. I should probably look at the description for that. Large pickaxe designed to crack thick bedrock. Tool of sturdy miners. Not originally designed as a weapon, but very adept at piercing armor. Little wretches, do you think your armor harder than stone? Interesting that is a quote on it. Is that like a common phrase that people associate with these miners, perhaps? And who is our narrator who gives us these item descriptions? Are they a reliable narrator? Are they biased? Are they supposed to be the musings of our character as he sees things, he calls certain tidbits he already knows? Slowly revealed to us, the audience and the player. Hard to say. I sure do like that starlight spell. Functions like a torch, is a little bit brighter than a lantern at our hip. Relatively cheap. But so very sturdy are these miners. the lock-on sometimes. When there's lots of enemies, you'll walk onto the wrong enemy occasionally. There we go. Much better. And another smithing stone. So we're gonna have lots of smithing stones by the end of this. And from what I recall, every 12 level 1 smithing stones is 3 weapon levels on standard weapons. Send that down, because we're interested in the hidden side content when it comes to these elevator shafts. If there is any, I could be mistaken on this one. Yeah, by the looks of it, I was mistaken. Worth checking out nonetheless. Something snapping at our heels. Worked very nicely. Another smithing stone. I drink a health potion. And we are doing quite well on smithing stones. 29. Nice. That's enough for 2 plus 3 weapons. Or a plus 3 weapon and maybe a plus 3 staff is what we'll go for. Make our Shatter Earth hit a little harder if we so choose. This is something we missed when we were going down from before. This little sub-level here. Looks like the ones with bags on their backs, they explode when introduced to fire. Oh, little numbers. Dropped a pickaxe. Another one. Good. Glintstone scrap. I should look at those, because those seem like they would be fitting with our character. Break gem and use FP to produce a magic bolt. Piece of glintstone tinged with unstable magic found in crystal tunnels. Poor quality and thereby easily broken. A sorcerer wouldn't give it a second look. But we're not a real sorcerer. We just have picked up a trick or two. Much the same, but larger. Okay. He was shaking his lantern there, and it looked like it had a stick. Probably should have shown it off. But, so his hand is padded there. Makes me wonder if it's for picking up those glowing rock. These explosive stones. Exactly what I was talking about. Explodes when thrown at enemies, inflicting fire damage. Miners employ these stones as tools for rock blasting, but have long forgotten how to craft them. How unfortunate. He has gold eyes. He drew 500 runes. I'm not angry. That's very good. Going to slowly build this character. Wish there was a little more lore in this tunnel. This is a little more just experiencing the gameplay loop. Rune, just a smidge of money. Ooh, and a white somber smithing stone. So if we find any specialty weapons, we can upgrade them one whole time. Smithing stone. Okay. We'll see what is beyond in here. A Stone Digger troll, so he's different from the other troll. Now that we know they're both trolls, that is. Oh boy. What a mean looking fellow. That looks like a big hit. missing because the weapon's so short and he's moving. There we go. That hit pretty well, probably because we added fire to our weapon. Tasty chunk of damage. Oop, knocked him down before he could do another huge slam. Nicely done. Making good progress. That's the end of him. Got a little easier than the last roll, I think. Roar Medallion. Okay. Let's take a look at the Roar Medallion. Perhaps it would be a little more useful than what we're using currently. Enhances roars and breath attacks. A bronze medallion depicting a roaring giant. So not a giant, a giant. It's not a troll. It's a different word entirely. Maybe there's some correlation between the two. In ancient times, the giants were mortal enemies of the Erd Tree. Their bellowing roars desolated nature, triggering avalanches, and whipped up storms of flame. They would have been truly giants if that's what their roars could do. Or maybe there's a magic associated. Not quite certain. Perhaps time will tell. Alright, so we finished the Limgrave Tunnel. Catacombs, Groveside Cave, Limgrave Tunnels, and now we get a chance to upgrade our weapon at the Church of Ella before we take on our next challenge, which we'll be very grateful to have an upgraded weapon for. Okay. So let's be seen here. Probably won't be using these. See the enemies wielding soon enough. Handful of these enemies we haven't seen just yet. We will in time. What kind of weapon are we feeling? There's the short sword. Did the short sword come with a lunge? Well, I do like straight swords. I like straight swords. So let's look at the Lorethrough sword. Short sword. And purple slender sword. So slash slash. Thrust. Thrust. Two-handed is a sweep. Vertical pattern. A little more vertical, I should say. Sweep, sweep. Also a thrust. Oh, it has a thrust for its power attack, actually. I really like that. I like that a lot. I didn't know that the short sword had a different thing for that. It also has these sweeps. One-handed is the thrust still. Gotta say, like the short sword also seems simpler. Something maybe our characters would gravitate toward. The broadsword's also simpler. Its power attack, one-handed, is a slice, though. But it seems to have good damage. Kind of a big damage difference. Or we could just keep leveling up the pick. It seems hard to know what to commit to right off the bat. Don't want to change the aesthetic of the character too. Let's start with the staff. We'll definitely be using the staff. So let's upgrade the staff. So we can upgrade it once, twice, and 3 times. Didn't upgrade it a whole lot, a couple percentage points. Probably a percentage point, it feels like. Seems like we would probably need more intelligence if we want that to do better. Kind of want to use the... Oh, we also have S-Talk. It seems a little too flashy, though. Be nice to have a thrusting sword of some kind. Yeah, I like the short sword. It feels modest. It feels like something we would use. Perhaps we'll switch off between the short sword and the war pick. How many do we have left? Not enough for both. Not quite. Just shy. We'll do the war pick. And a couple more points of damage should make a bit of a difference. Not a whole lot. But, it'll be something. How about, Ashes of War? We could put Stamp Sweep on there. Okay. Infuse it. Interesting. Or we could put, Storm Stomp on there. I kind of want to leave it as kick, honestly. I don't want to be making trades, which is kind of what sweep is for. I'll show you what they look like. Let's do that. That's something I need to be showing off anyways. That's such short range. It looks a lot more impressive when you have a long great sword or a curved great sword or even a big old hammer. Something this small. Basically, the idea is that you have a higher damage resistance during the first startup, and then you can hit twice for the end part. So you take a little damage, kind of like a block, and then you counter hit real hard. And then let's take a look at Storm Stomp. And that's good for stunning things. Maybe we'll give that one a try for now. If we don't like it, we'll switch back to using kick. Alright, so we have a challenge ahead of us. I don't know how ready we'll be for this challenge, especially with a war pick, deceptively short weapon that it is. We're gonna give it a go anyways. Pass the time until nightfall. And this episode might run just a tad long, depending on how fast we can kill this fellow. And we can't make any more greases because we have no more root resin. Might have to pull out the bow. Who knows? Oh. Never looked at this. This is a telescope. Bird eye telescope. We can use it to look around. So we're directly below it by this, from what it seems. There is our bridge we are meant to cross. There's a path north to the wondrous physic as was described to us in a note. There's the swamp. There's the Gatefront ruins. Something glowing over there. Storm Veil. Bridge. Very broken up. A big old tower. The Erd Tree. Quite magnificent as it is. It's just huge. We can't even see the base of it. It's so far in the distance. Alright. And we have some lands over there. Another one of those towers. It seems to have its own little bridge next to it. Telescope lets us see quite far indeed. Alright. Alright, hitting a smidge harder. Probably worth it. There's our boss fight. I'm hoping I can get him to turn around so I can loot the scarab. That's my goal. Get determination. Maybe that's what we should put on it. Determination buffs your next hit. Okay, so Storm Stomp coming in. Does good posture damage. We finally see some foot soldiers. Their little daggers. Does the foot soldier equipment say anything interesting? Flanged iron cap widely issued to foot soldiers in a lord's army. It's generic. Padded armor cloth. Oh, wow. So very, very generic. Oh. Oh boy, this is going to take a hot minute, isn't it? I should be doing this on horseback. Give it a go. I don't believe in myself that much. Or just a lowly foreman from a mine somewhere. Sip. Take it real slow. Right around before bad stuff happens. not like the horseback combat. It gives us lots of mobility, which is nice, which means he's going to miss a lot, and we're going to miss a lot. But hopefully we can miss less than he does. Are you kidding me? He phased out of existence. We went too far down the road. Well, maybe I can get a good old hot shot off on him with this. Ooh, not mad at all. Come on, take a jump. Not worth it. Quite the trade. Not sure if it was worthwhile. Probably not. Where's he going? Well, we're out of those, so we can't rely on them anymore. It's so hard. Wish we had access to our spells, but I just have a feeling we don't. Yeah, not a chance. Oh, is that it? Oh, we did it! Only took one try. Incredible. Repeating thrust. Could be fun on a straight sword. Maybe a spear if we find one we like. Oh, good. So we were able to do that very well. And we have a nearby somber smithing stone and the Waypoint Ruins. Okay. It seems that that Nightwatch Cavalryman was not antagonistic to these Godric soldiers. Not in the least bit. Despite wearing very different equipment and regalia. They didn't seem to be affiliated, but they seemed neutral enough. Big old troll here. I don't have a lot of health flasks. They seem to be impaled through the tombstone in their chest cavity. I'm supposed to cut the episode here. What am I doing? There we go. We knocked him over. We are holding up this stagecoach. He's getting up, none the wiser. Thoroughly bamboozled. Now we have the Great Axe, which we will look at very quickly. And then we'll loot the item up there. Let's take a look at that. Great Axe, akin to a huge lump of iron, recognized as the weapon of choice of the Badland Chieftains. So we're finally seeing a little more connection to those starting classes, the hero class, Horaloo of the Badlands. Too heavy to be wielded by those of merely ordinary strength, blows from this axe will flatten enemies, and the force of its charged attack is a sight to behold. It has a unique skill, Barbaric Roar. We won't be able to wield it for a while, as it weighs a good amount and has 30 strength. I apologize, I just bumped my microphone. And we will cut the episode there. Thank you for hanging around through all these episodes. I understand they may not be the most exciting. I'm having a blast. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you again, and have a good day. Bye-bye.